Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you all are doing well today. My name is Elliot, and welcome back to the Fragrance Well. Today's topic, we are going to be talking about versatile fragrances that give you versatility, usability, utility. You can use them in a variety of situations, and you don't have to worry about if they're going to work for those situations. When I first started collecting fragrances, that was my main focus. I wanted fragrances that I could use in a variety of situations, so I didn't have to worry about did it work or not. Because at that time I was still kind of developing my nose, developing what I liked in fragrances. So when I first started getting them, I wanted to just get things that I knew I could use for a variety of situations without having to think too much about does this work for this or that, because I didn't really understood what that meant yet. So I got 8 of them here, 8 fragrances that I think have a lot of utility, a lot of versatility, and we're going to talk about them right now. Okay, so let's get it started. So the first one I think is going to be a bit of an obvious choice, but I think it is still worth talking about. This is from the house of Chanel. This is Bleu de Chanel. I particularly have the Parfum concentration, but I think it's safe to say that really any of them could potentially work in terms of using them for versatility and maximum usability. This one is my favorite Bleu de Chanel fragrance. I think it has the most depth. It is pretty much a one-note fragrance like Bleu de Chanel is. Not a one-note fragrance, but a one-track fragrance. It kind of does one thing and does that one thing well, but there's nothing wrong with that. Oftentimes when you talk about versatility and usability, that's kind of what a lot of those fragrances are going to do for the most part. Bleu de Chanel features citrus notes, a couple of aromatic notes, and some sandalwood and cedar to be exact. Very classy, very elegant, very simple, and it just gets the job done. You know, it's very pleasing to the palate. You know, not overly complex, but Bleu de Chanel overall is a quality fragrance. You know, not the most exciting thing out there, but when you're talking about versatility, this one definitely handles that very well. You can pretty much wear this all year round. You can pretty much wear it to any occasion. It can be a fun night out. It can be a formal occasion. Bleu de Chanel will absolutely get the job done. So it is a usable, useful fragrance in any arsenal. Not saying it's a must-have, but if that's something that you're looking for, versatility, this one will always get the job done. Bleu de Chanel, any concentration I think works. You know, you can pick and choose which one you may like the best, but Bleu de Chanel, very versatile fragrance. Okay, and the next one's gonna be coming from the house of Narciso Rodriguez. This is Bleu Noir, the Parfum concentration. Narciso Rodriguez, for him, Bleu Noir, the Parfum concentration. Try to get in the light so you guys can see a little better. This fragrance is an iris fragrance, so has a touch of powderiness to it, but it's not overly powdery, but also has some spices going on, a little bit of citrus, and has some suede-like undertones along with some woods to it. Featured notes are cardamom, mandarin orange, bergamot, cypress, iris, musk, suede, tonka bean, leather, cedar, sandalwood, and vetiver. So a little bit of a different direction with that iris. You know, it's gonna set it apart from your typical citrus, maybe slightly sweet, woody fragrance that tends to lend to that maximum usability, maximum versatility, or even the aromatic approach. But this one, I'm still kind of warming up to this one, but it definitely has a usability to it. It can be used in a variety of situations. It doesn't come off so powdery that, you know, it kind of sets it into a box. It has some other things going on to it that I think lend to its usability. Can work in a variety of temperatures. Maybe not the best for summertime, but when you're talking about versatility, usually summertime might be the thing that kind of makes you have to move away from that depending on what you're doing. If you're indoors, it doesn't really matter. This one might be worth checking out if you want something a little bit different, especially if you're a fan of iris and you want something in that versatile range that has an iris touch to it. So for him, Bleu Noir, Parfum concentration, Narciso Rodriguez. Okay, next one on the list is coming from the house of Nashane. This is a personal favorite of mine, Hacivat. Nashane's Hacivat. Beautiful, crisp, sharp citrus in the opening. And nice, clean oak moss on the dry down. That's what this one is all about. This one is a great, versatile fragrance that performs really well in hotter temperatures as well, so you also gain that. And it also can be worn in cooler temperatures. You might have to spray it a little bit heavier. It is a very fresh and citrus-forward fragrance, but definitely a versatile fragrance, can work in a wide variety of situations. Featured notes are pineapple, grapefruit, bergamot, cedarwood, patchouli, jasmine, oak moss, woody notes, and clearwood. People like to compare this one to Creed's Aventus. I would say it's done in a similar style to Aventus, you know, being kind of a citrus, woody fragrance, but it's not smoky like Aventus. The pineapple does not come across the same. In my opinion, I actually like this more than Aventus. I think it is a superior fragrance to Aventus. Not saying Aventus isn't good, but I don't like to compare this one like that. But, you know, that's how people are gonna kind of know or have an idea of what this might smell like. Some people think it's exactly like Aventus off the top. I can't really agree with that, but to each their own. Everybody experiences things differently, but that's tough for me to say. This is much sharper than Aventus is. It does have the fruity aspect of it, but it's much more of a sour, sharp citrus forward. Not sour in like a spoiled way. It's just much more piercing than Aventus is off the top, and that's one of the reasons I like it. I like how invigorating it is as soon as you spray it and smell it. It is a very powerful fragrance, performs really nicely. Neshane's Hacivat, great versatile fragrance, definitely one of my personal favorites. Check it out if you haven't, get a sample of it. Moving on, the next one is going to be coming from the house of Rochas Parfums, and this is Sartorial Nuit. Rochas Parfum Sartorial Nuit. I like to draw comparisons to this one with Prada Luna Rossa Black. However, where Prada Luna Rossa Black is a little bit more spicy powdery, this one is more aromatic powdery and a touch sweeter than Prada Black is. This features French clary sage, French lavender, Italian bergamot, orange blossom, tonka bean, musk, sandalwood, cedar, and vanilla. So while I do think that this one has some versatility to it, this one's gonna be a little bit more of an elegant take. Like I said, it is powdery, kind of very grown up, very well put together, has a touch of elegance to it. Like I said, focuses more on the aromatics with the powderiness and the nice smooth sweetness you get from the tonka bean and the vanilla. With this one, with the powdery nature of it, it kind of reminds me of like a powdered sugar sweetness to it, but also has, like I said, the aromatics off the top, so it has a cleanliness to it. Very elegant, very well put together. Very nice fragrance that, you know, definitely has some versatility to it. It can work with a variety of situations and doesn't lean too far in one direction or the other, but also something a little bit different than what you're gonna find out there in the typical mass appealing, max versatility type fragrance that you'll find with citruses and woods. Once again, Sartorial Nuit from Rochas Parfums. Okay guys, so the next one is going to be coming from the house of Rochas Parfums, a house not really known for making fragrances that are known to have versatility to them. They're usually kind of hyper focused on doing something really special in a very elegant way. But they definitely made a good versatile fragrance with this one. This is Rochas Elysium Parfum pour Homme. I think the Parfum Cologne would work as well, but I just happened to like this one better, so I went on ahead and made the investment for the Parfum Elysium. Very citrus forward, very aromatic, also woody and clean. Very versatile fragrance, really good for the warmer weather as well, so that adds to the versatility element to it, but it can be worn in cooler months too. Some of the notes in this include grapefruit, lemon, lime, bergamot, lavender, thyme, musk, blackcurrant, mayrose, apple, jasmine, cedarwood, juniper berry, ambergris, vetiver, benzoin, and musk, just to name a few. If you know anything about Rochas fragrances, they list a lot of notes. That being said, there's a lot of notes listed here and a lot of stuff going on, but it blends very nicely to a very clean and fresh and citrus forward, woody and elegant, mass appealing, mass versatile fragrance. So that's why I had this one on this list. To me, Elysium is kind of Rochas' take on a very high class blue style fragrance. It's very mass appealing, very versatile, very easy to wear, but also retains that elegance and that complexity that is very well known for a lot of Rochas Parfums fragrances. So this one had to make the list because I really enjoy it. I think it has a lot of usability to it. And you know, if you want to kind of have that effect while also getting something that has a lot more depth to it, a little bit more of an interesting fragrance, a little bit higher class if you will, then this one is a good one to go with. Rochas Parfum Elysium pour Homme. Definitely a mass appealing and maximum usability fragrance from the house of Rochas Parfums. Alright, so this next one is going to be coming from the house of Jimmy Choo. This is Jimmy Choo Man Intense. Jimmy Choo Man Intense. This is pretty much a modern take on a classic barbershop style fragrance. It's got aromatics to it, it's got a little bit of spice, but it also has some sweetness which gives it that more modern edge. This fragrance is inexpensive at discounters. It's very pleasing to the nose, easy to wear. Like I said, most barbershop fragrances have a lot of versatility to them. That's why the style was so popular when it was. And that's also why a lot of them are still around today. Featured notes in this are lavender, honeydew melon, mandarin orange, geranium, black pepper, divana, cistus absolute, patchouli, and tonka bean. Like I said, this is a barbershop style fragrance, and with that comes a sense of cleanliness to it. And anytime you have a fragrance that exuberance cleanliness, it's going to have a lot of versatility to it. So this one is not short of that. It also just has a couple of other things to make it a little bit more interesting than just simply being clean. Like I said, it has a little bit of spice to it, a nice sweetness to it, and it's just a pleasing smell and great for a lot of situations. You can pretty much wear this wherever you want to, and also pretty much wear it year round. It's not too polarizing in one direction or the other. Not a super complex scent, not overly unique, but it'll get the job done. And when you're talking about versatility, that's all you need. You need a fragrance that is easy to wear and can work in a variety of situations, and it'll smell nice, giving you that utility that you want. Jimmy Choo Man Intense, check it out if you haven't. Not a superly expensive fragrance, so it's a good one to check out. All right, so this next one's gonna be coming from the house of Rochas. This is Rochas L'Homme. Rochas L'Homme. This one is fresh and spicy and aromatic. Very clean, very easy to wear fragrance, very pleasant to the palate, and really it's a great versatile fragrance because it's very simple and it just works for a variety of situations because you don't really have to think too much about spraying this one on. Featured notes are blood orange, cardamom, pineapple, geranium, basil, juniper berry, tonka bean, moss, and patchouli. This one has similarities to Dolce & Gabbana's K line, so if you've ever smelled that line, you're gonna get a similar DNA with this one. I think this one is actually done a little bit better than the K Eau de Toilette and the K Eau de Parfum, and this one's also a lot more affordable. So if you like that style DNA and that's something you want in your arsenal, check out this one. I think, you know, it'll go a little bit longer ways for you and be easier on your pockets, and it has a very similar vibe. Very aromatic, sweetness to it. The juniper berry is not too forward in this, but adds a nice green touch to it. Very clean, mass appealing, super easy to wear. Anytime you can just pick up a fragrance and go with it, it's automatically going to have some versatility to it because you don't have to think about it too much. L'Homme Rochas, check it out if you haven't, especially if you can find it for a really good price. I actually got the tester bottle, and so this cost me next to nothing. And it's a great fragrance that I can just grab and go whenever I need something to just work. All right, and last but not least, this last one's gonna be coming from the house of Christian Dior. This is Dior Homme Sport. This is the newest Sport Flanker release, the 2021 release. This is the Sport Flanker to the Dior Homme 2020 fragrance. And to be honest, it smells very, very similar to Dior Homme 20. It's just a lot more sharp, a lot more citrus forward, while still retaining that woodsy DNA that Dior Homme 2020 has. To me, I say this one is a little bit more superior because I think it has a little bit more versatility, and honestly, I just like that sharp and brisk nature of it. The sharp, brisk, citrusy, spicy freshness that this has off the top actually makes me like it a little bit better than the Dior Homme 2020. This one features Italian lemon, aldehydes, Calabrian bergamot, elemi resin, pink pepper, frankincense, amber, and woods. So Dior Homme 2020 is already known for being a year-round, very versatile fragrance. This one is no different. Obviously, yes, it's suited a little bit more to warmer weather and, you know, higher intensity situations, hence it being a sport fragrance. But like I said, it smells very similar to Dior Homme 2020. It's not a massive departure from it. It's just a lot fresher, but it still retains that woodiness that is prevalent in Dior Homme 2020, with a lot more sharper citrus notes and a lot more cleanliness to it. Much more fresh take on the Dior Homme 2020 DNA, and I really enjoyed this. So Dior Homme 2021, the sport release. Check it out if you haven't. It's pretty much available at most department stores that carry Christian Dior. Maximum versatility fragrance. Okay guys, so that's gonna do it for today's video. That was 8 versatile fragrances. I think it's always good to have at least a couple fragrances that are very versatile for you. So today I just offered some options that might accomplish that for you. Trust me, there are plenty of others out there. Let me know down in the comments below some fragrances that you think are very good for versatility, and in particular might even make you stand out a little bit from everybody else. I know all of these don't necessarily accomplish that, but I tried to include some in that might be a little bit different from what the masses might be wearing. Don't forget to like and Subscribe to the channel if you like the content, like the video, share it if you think somebody could use this information. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope to see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well.